the real question is, what is the government going to want to happen? What is the mainstream consensus going to want to happen?
What's happening, crypto family? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be checking out Michael Saylor. He's going to be talking about what's going to happen next in the economy. He gives his thoughts and he talks about what the government does not want you to know. This is a great one, guys. A lot of great information in today's video. Michael Saylor, long-term Bitcoin bull, is talking a little different today, talking about what's going to happen next for the U.S. economy and the international economy, what they don't want you to know. Let's go ahead and check it out here. And make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below.
I think that the most important place to start is to recognize that every conventional economic metric that is talked about in mainstream media or in mainstream political conversations is a man-made, fabricated metric. It's just a synthesized metric that is created, named, and defined and measured by an interested organization that has a vested interest in creating a certain effect. So, for example, the employment statistics. Well, if 40% of the people don't work, how can we be at full employment? Because I redefine the employment number to not include people that stop looking for a job, right? Inflation. The current inflation is core inflation. That's the change in prices, not including the highly volatile food and energy. Okay, so if I don't use energy and I don't use food and I pick other things, any arbitrary things, and I measure them in any arbitrary way, I can generate any arbitrary number. But what number do I want? I want a low number because I've indexed pensions and indexed my cost to that number. So the inflation is just a synthesized number two. We made up the one we wanted. How about the size of the economy? The GDP is growing. Well, if I shut down the economy for 2 years and nobody could buy 1/3 of the stuff they used to be able to buy, how is the economy growing? And the economy is growing if I print 40% more money and I measure the economy in the money, then the economy could shrink by 30%, but the GDP is said to have grown 2%. So I'm changing the definition of the economy. An economic unit used to be worth 35% more 3 years ago. So all the labor statistics, all the monetary statistics, all the inflation statistics, all of these things, the definition, like, will we have a soft landing? Well, of course we'll have a soft landing because it's politically advantageous to have a soft landing. So how do you create a soft landing? You simply define a measure of the economy that you know will land softly, and then you go and you track that and you report that. And there are parts of the economy that had a hard landing, but we simply don't report that. Just like if it turns out that it's too expensive to buy ribeye steak, I just remove steak from the CPI market basket and I normalize boxed cereal.
Right.
And then if I want to be extreme, I say not only is boxed cereal the new norm, I'll say it turns out that steak is bad for you anyway. We heard it gives you a heart attack and kills you. So I can actually change the definition of the economic unit. So my point here really is everybody's looking at this, debating these numbers, but all the debates are fabricated such that everybody's being told what to focus on, and the things they're focusing upon aren't really necessarily relevant. It's like when you have a kid and you want them to pick either the pink curtains or the green curtains for their room. So you give them a choice of pink or green or ugly psychedelic polka dot. and you let them choose. And they go, well, mommy, I hate ugly psychedelic polka dot. I'm not sure about green or pink. I guess I want pink, right? Did they choose? Did it happen? We're giving people this, these set of distorted metrics. What's going to happen is our manufacturing ability is we're going to manufacture more stuff generally better, except when the government shuts down factories, which they've been doing with the trade war. The AIs are going to create more information content stuff, more virtual stuff, infinite more, and the price of that is going to go down. If you want to measure things that technology impacts, it'll be deflationary. And so if you put them all in your market basket, then there's going to be a soft landing, because we're going to find out, you know what, this year, I've never had a greater supply of streaming video, television shows, and movies to watch in my entire life. In fact, I could say I probably have 100x more streaming television shows to watch this year than I did 5 years ago. So did the economy grow by a factor of 100? It did if you count each streaming video I watch as one unit of output. But on the other hand, there's a piece of electrical equipment I ordered, a transformer switch 4 years ago. I still can't get it.
Wow.
4 years later, there's certain products that used to be produced that aren't produced. We mothballed a third of the airplanes. We mothballed all sorts of things. There's all sorts of businesses that are out of business. There's all sorts of diversity of goods and services you just can't buy anymore. But if you don't ask for them and we don't count them, then they didn't go away. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is there's a lot of conventional debate in the macroeconomic sphere about conventional synthesized metrics. And the GDP results don't track the economy. The inflation results don't track the price of stuff. The rate of change, sector to sector doesn't necessarily track what you think it tracks, because the people that create the metrics have too much flexibility with regard to what they choose to measure and how they choose to measure it. There's an old saying in the propaganda business: you can't tell people what to think, but we can tell them what to think about, right? So I can create a crisis by lassoing a set of commonplace events and putting them all on one page and like shining a flashlight at it and saying, you have to cope with this, you have to address this. And I can diffuse a crisis by simply ignoring an overwhelming set of negative events. And so ultimately here, when you say, well, is it going to happen or is it not going to happen? The real question is, what is the government going to want to happen? What is the mainstream consensus going to want to happen?
And thank you for watching all the way to the end of that one. And do you agree with Michael Saylor? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Are we going to have a soft landing because the government wants us to have a soft landing? But thanks again for watching. Definitely leave those comments below. Love interacting with you guys. And my name is Aaron from the Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.